So this is a recommendation to people that I think could be useful in life and has been useful in my own life. And what it is to make plans and work out what you would do to manage things if your life would suddenly change quite drastically and quite quickly. How would things work out? So if you were to become ill, for example, or if you were to break your leg, or if your house was to burn down, various things that might happen in your life, it would be a good idea to work out in your mind how things would work out, how you would manage. How would you take care of your children? How would you take care of your mortgage or your income? How would things work out if you were to suddenly break your leg tomorrow? If your house was to burn down tomorrow? Or if you were, in the worst case, if you were to die, how would things be? I think it is worthwhile to make some kind of rough plan as to how you would manage if things were to change in your life very quickly and very drastically. So, in my own experience, I've had a brain injury and it has resulted in a complete loss of memory. So, my life has changed drastically. And I used to be married. I used to own two businesses that I ran as a sole trader. I used to have a house and a flat that I owned. Um, and I used to have savings in my bank account. So I really don't understand what's going on in my life now. I have yet to work out the details. And so this has led me to think that I could recommend that people make some kind of rough plan in your mind or in effect in paperwork or whatever as to how you would manage your life, how things would work out if you were to suddenly become incapacitated, if you were to become ill suddenly, if you were to break your leg tomorrow, if your house was to burn down, and if, in the worst case, if you were to die, how would things work out? How would you manage? How would your children be taken care of? How would certain bills be paid and things like that? I think it is worth thinking about how you could manage your life if you were to suddenly become incapacitated, if you were to suddenly become ill, if you were suddenly unconscious and not able to function. As I said, if you were to actually die, and a number of things that could happen in your life. I think it is worth imagining various scenarios and making some kind of rough plan as to how things would work out, how you could manage. And so ask yourself what would happen in your life if you were to suddenly become unavailable. If you were to break your leg tomorrow, how would you manage things? How would things work out? How would the mortgage be paid? How would your children be looked after? What would happen in your life in various ways if you were to suddenly be incapacitated? So I do think it's worth wondering how you would manage if you break your leg tomorrow. If you were to become unconscious somehow, if you were to become suddenly very seriously ill tomorrow, if you were to die, how would things work out? How would everybody manage? So I think it is worth thinking about this and understanding how things would work out if you were to suddenly become unavailable for some reason. And as I said, this has happened to me, and it has been very difficult, and I've yet to work out the full consequences of my unavailability. But it is a lot of work, and I do wish that I had considered such an eventuality in years past, so that I would have some idea of what to do. So as I said, I do recommend to people that you make a plan as to what you would do if you were suddenly to become unavailable. What would happen in your life? How would things work out? How would you manage? So that's my recommendation.